Gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! Somebody saw a text message. Washington, D.C. is losing its mind. They should relax, okay? Relax. This Signal Gate thing is not a big deal at all. And actually, I think I can make a very good case that this was Democrat Party sabotage. Absolutely. I've got the receipts, as they like to say. It's circumstantial, but it's pretty suspicious, all right? First, a couple of things. The mission against the Houthis was and is a raging success, okay? The Biden administration wouldn't do what needed to be done. This is effective. That is the headline that's been lost in all of this. We also have a momentum for peace throughout the world. How about that for a change? And prosperity at home. Prices are going down, and the money keeps coming in. It is now over $3 trillion with Schneider Electric putting in $700 million, and on and on and on it goes. This is really good stuff for the country, okay? He is strong. He is successful. This is working out, making good on all of his campaign promises. This doesn't compute in Washington, D.C., not at all. So I will address Signal Gate, but again, remember, relax, okay? First of all, you know who's really good at losing secrets and stealing them, actually? Democrats. Who remembers Sandy Berger, Bill Clinton's national security advisor, who stuffed top secret documents, yes, in his underpants? Walked out of the National Archives with secret stuff that he wanted so bad that he was convicted of a crime. He was caught sticking this stuff in his underpants. It was all, of course, handled very discreetly by the Washington, D.C. establishment. You see, Sandy Berger, well, he went to Yale, and he's one of our own. And he's a friend of Bill Clinton. May he rest in peace. He died a few years ago. Also, do you remember this? The Central Intelligence Agency director under Bill Clinton, a guy named Deutsch, kept all of the secret stuff on his home computer, which was a Commodore 64, which was like totally obsolete, even by the time he had it in 1993. Reams and reams, or megabytes, terabytes, whatever they call it, on floppy disks, old-fashioned floppy disks. He got caught. He was in trouble. It was, even for the swamp, even for one of their own, it was kind of a big deal. And I think that's worthy of pointing out, putting things a little bit in context. And how about Bush and Cheney? If they didn't like the intelligence and that they weren't leaking it, which they did, they lied about it, right? Weapons of mass destruction. We know they're in there in Iraq. Just get the paperwork that says so. Just get the paperwork that says so. And we went to war in Iraq for a weapons of mass destruction program that wasn't. They did not have an active weapons of mass destruction, no nuclear, biological, or chemical warfare labs, and yet we went to war. And these guys were leaking stuff all the time, illegally, I believe. I mean, take a look at this. President Bush authorized an aide to disclose classified intelligence on Iraqi weapons. Now, the thing is, everybody does it in D.C. Listen to this, that President Bush authorized an aide to disclose classified intelligence on Iraqi weapons comes as no shock to official Washington. The leaking of secrets has long been a favored tool of policy debate, political combat, and diplomatic one-upsmanship, right? Everything is worse, though, when President Trump is involved, right? It's got to be a scandal. I can't believe that when Joe Biden, you compare the text message going to one guy who shouldn't have received it to the decades and decades of classified stuff in Joe Biden's garage, in his garage, right? Behind the Corvette. We all saw it, all that stuff, and the FBI found it. And when it actually became news, and Joe Biden was just as indignant and weird as he's always been. How dare you question me? Watch.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay, so it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
But
it
anyway,
was in a locked garage.
yes, as well as my Corvette.
It's so sick what he just said there, right? And he said President Trump and how could anybody be so careless? But what I find sick there, he's actually being braggy about the Corvette. Like, I got a Corvette, right? Just like when he was in high school and he always had a new car because his dad owned the dealership. When Democrats mess around with secrets, it's considered cute. It's considered part of the art of Washington.
Talked to 100 people, countless documents. You have details of some 40 meetings with the president and his advisors. Were people just eager to talk?
The beginning of the project, one of the president's top advisors said to me, "You're not going to find many deep throats around here." And by the end of the process, he was reading his own notes of the top secret meetings.
That's a crime. That's a crime. But it's cute when Bob Woodward does it. And something tells me that there were a lot of deep throats in the Obama administration, probably the Biden administration too. I don't know for sure, but the attack on the Houthis was effective and necessary, okay? And it was flawless in its execution.
Tonight, smoke rising over Yemen's capital after the U.S. launches large-scale strikes against Iranian-backed Houthi militants. So far, the largest and most significant military action of President Trump's second term. Trump saying the Houthis have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. U.S. officials tell ABC News the air and naval strikes hit radars, air defenses, and missile and drone systems.
All right, nice job. And some of these operations are continuing, are ongoing. All right, so when they were planning for this stuff, well, all right, I'm not going to say these text messages should be in the public domain, but they are. And here they are from the Secretary of Defense, and he's outlining the plan of attack. And some of this stuff is actually pretty specific. I think we have them broken down so we can see them. He's updating the Vice President, the Secretary of State, a lot of other people. Gives a weather report. We're launching the F-18s at 12:15. All right, next, please. Another wave at 13:45. And it goes on like this. These are pretty specific with the weapon systems involved. You know, we know where the Houthis are. It's called the Houthi group. This is all very, very specific and not the kind of stuff that you want in the public domain. All right? But there's something really sinister going on. And I think all of these guys were kind of the victim of a cybercrime perpetrated by the Biden administration. I know maybe that sounds crazy to some in the fake news, but let me make my case. There's an organization in the federal government called CISA, right? Robert F. Kennedy says that this group is essentially a censorship group. And they did a lot of things to undermine the Trump administration. Now, it was December 18th of 2024 that they put out this memo. It was right during the transition, okay? And it struck me as odd at the time. They warned about China hacking into government phones. Go ahead and put that up, please. The next. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, has identified cyber espionage activity by People's Republic of China, okay, government-affiliated threat actors targeting commercial telecommunications infrastructure. Okay, got that, everybody? China is trying to hack phones. So what does CISA do? What do they advise the government to do? It's a government agency, and they tell everybody to do the following. You need to, next slide, please. Let me continue. This guidance specifically addresses highly targeted individuals who are in senior government or senior political positions and likely to possess information of interest to these threat actors. So what do? Next, please. Adopt a free messaging application for secure communications that guarantees end-to-end encryption, such as Signal or similar apps. They're advising these top-level officials who are handling very sensitive information to go to Signal. And they didn't do it years ago. They did it in December when there's an incoming administration. I said at the time, folks, this is weird. I do not trust CISA. They played all kinds of games in 2020. I went on television that night, December 18th, 2024, and said, folks, this is wrong. And now I know it's wrong. I want to show you how this stuff works, because they're supposed to preserve messages for freedom of information requests. Watch what happens to my message after I send it. Goes away. The government wants their messages to disappear. And I find that very suspicious, don't you? The government is recommending this app, and they're saying that the Chinese are responsible? Kind of like the Russians used to be responsible for stuff? I can't prove this yet, but I'm on it. All right. Granted, what I thought at the time was they were giving themselves permission to download the Signal app so they could erase everything, right? All the documents could be erased. Now I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. This is a game. You don't tell the government to go to Signal like that during a transition. I think it was to set these guys up. I think that they did that. CISA, don't trust them, and they struck again. Now, so far, I think the administration's been handling it very well, including the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Now, some of you may remember, as we see Pete over there on his Asian tour, I was not a strong proponent of Pete getting this job. But once he got it, I said, that's water under the bridge. He has my full and complete support. And if I can ever help, I'm a phone call away. He doesn't need my help. He's got the best people in the world. I don't know anything. But I do know this. He's handling this superbly, right? This is not ideal, and he doesn't know what I know. Or maybe he does about the CISA stuff. But deny everything, admit nothing, and make counter accusations, and tell the truth every step of the way. And that's what he did.
And anybody that knows me for years and knows President Trump knows how much we love the warriors. That's what it's about. The men and women who serve, who do the tough, difficult, gritty, dirty work that most Americans will never know about, but we have the privilege of seeing and understanding the courage and skill of what they do.
It kind of neutralizes a lot of critics right off the bat, right? Okay, you don't know what we know. You're undermining them if you ask too many questions about this. It's clever, it's smart, it's effective. Next.
Nobody's texting war plans. Well, I noticed this morning, out came something that doesn't look like war plans. And as a matter of fact, they even changed the title to attack plans because they know it's not war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information. You know who sees war plans? I see them every single day. I looked at them this morning.
All right, it's a bit of a humble brag, but it's effective. Who gets to see this stuff, right? People in power. And this is, I believe, kind of, well, it just works, all right? And he's being truthful at the same time. Next.
My job, as it said atop of that, everybody's seen it now, team update, is to provide updates in real time. General updates in real time, keep everybody informed. That's what I did. That's my job. The war fighters will take the fight to the enemy, and I love what they do. And with President Trump's leadership, our enemies are on notice. We will have peace through strength, and we'll keep putting our troops first.
All right, go for it. America first, MAGA, I love it. Now, there's one small critique. At this point, I do believe he should take questions, all right? He can handle it. He can run circles around these reporters. You never want to be seen walking away while there are questions still on the table, all right?
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.